an annual cherry blossom festival, a family barbecue, and what might look like a quaint New England fishing village. 3 different unrelated scenes, or so it seems. But in fact, all are within a half-mile of one another in a very unlikely locale. The U.S. Naval Fleet activities at Chinhae, South Korea. A slice of America on the tip of the Korean Peninsula. And your next assignment, your home to be. Chinhae may be like no other base you've seen, or at least none outside the continental U.S. In style and look, it is America. The housing, your housing, is right out of Middle America. Well, almost. Because there are differences. Chinhae is unique in several ways. Chinhae is about 300 miles south of Seoul and 40 miles west of Busan, South Korea's second largest city and principal seaport. Once a sleepy fishing village, Chinhae today is a window on today's South Korea, with rapid industrial development reflecting the country's role as one of Asia's most dynamic economies. Its population of 150,000 is growing fast. Chinhae is the principal home port of the South Korean Navy. The Naval Academy is here. The base is a secure facility. But once each year, early in April, the Korean base plays host to a cherry blossom festival, as with those in Tokyo and Washington, one of but 3 major cherry blossom festivals worldwide. During this week, well over 1 million people crowd into Chinhae. The U.S. Naval facility occupies the northeast corner of this base. Not far from the U.S. facility's main gate is a huge market. Most public transportation in Chinhae and to elsewhere is by bus. Chinhae has no airport. 2 commuter trains link Chinhae to Masan, a city to the northwest. There's also a large amusement park. And of course, examples of Korea's unique culture are evident. Let's see what life there will be like.
The communication with the sponsor is really important with this type of duty.
The sponsors package that we received was quite well put together.
The sponsors package is very clear about transportation, the layout of the housing, what you need to pack and what you need not to bring.
All in all, base housing is furnished, and so you really don't need anything other than what you just use on the necessity of a day-to-day life.
Early on, make sure that your sponsor from your new command has contacted you and that you maintain contact with him or her. Do not bring any basic essential furniture, as your on-base Chinhae home comes fully furnished, ready to set up housekeeping. This furniture is of excellent quality, a colonial cherry style. Here's what you get. In the living room, an upholstered sofa with matching chairs, coffee table, side tables, and lamps. Also a writing desk with matching chair and a bookcase. In the dining room, a formal table with 6 chairs, china cabinet, and server. Each bedroom has a bed, mattress and box springs, dresser, nightstand, and lamp. The master bedroom features a queen-size bed. The kitchen comes ready to go. Refrigerator freezer. Electric range. Dishwasher. Garbage disposal and trash compactor. A microwave oven and toaster are included in a loaner kit until your household goods arrive. The same goes for pots, pans, and utensils. And the water is safe to drink from the tap, which is not the case off base. The base has its own wells and purifiers. It's just as well so many of your basic needs are provided because there's a strict limit on what else you can bring. You're limited to either 2,500 pounds or 25% of your allotment, whichever is greater. Of course, this excludes your motor vehicle. Let's cover what else you might need. A home entertainment center, including a VCR, is a good idea. This is especially true because while there are some basic cable channels and more are on the way, you should also bring a good supply of movies and subscriptions to order more. Also bring books, magazines, games, and a place to keep them, and other family artifacts. Don't bring room air conditioners, as all quarters are centrally heated and cooled. Keep Chinhae's weather in mind when it comes to what clothing to bring. Summers are like Norfolk's, hot and humid. Winters can be cold, but it rarely snows. Chinhae's southern exposure and waterfront locale are a moderating influence. If you have young children, estimate their growth for the time you will be in Chinhae and bring clothing for them to grow into. This is because neither the Chinhae Exchange nor the other U.S. military exchanges stock sufficient quantities and varieties of young children's clothing. The same goes for toys, gifts, and toddler needs. Bring them with you or catalogs to order them, as the exchanges don't have much variety. You might consider bringing a sewing machine, or at least pattern books if you don't sew. This is because South Korea is rich in fabrics, a Hong Kong of the North, although perhaps more expensive. If you don't sew, you can hire a seamstress to create new wardrobes in your home or her shop. A somewhat costly but by and large affordable way to get an exciting new look. You can bring up to 2 domestic house pets. No exotic pets or farm animals. Finally, if you've a hobby or side business, keep in mind that critical supplies might not be available. Let's step outside to see what else you might need. You're responsible for keeping your grounds trimmed, but unless you're really into gardening, don't bother bringing your own tools. Lawnmowers and other implements are available on a checkout basis. 1 car is authorized for those on accompanied orders and for E6 and above on unaccompanied orders. But think twice before bringing a car other than a Korean make, because foreign car repair and maintenance are hard to come by. So if you do bring in a foreign car, be sure to include a good supply of filters, fuses, bulbs, and the like. Driving is on the right, and while many city streets are narrow and hard to negotiate, there are expressways and more under construction. For reminders and other particulars on living in Chinhae, consult the Base Family Housing Guide. There are 2 ways to get to Chinhae from the U.S. One is to fly to Tokyo, then connect to a Korean Airlines flight to Busan. The more common way is to connect through Seoul, where you will find flights to Busan every half hour. Be aware that if you take the Tokyo route and arrive after noon, you will have to overnight there and pay a 2,000 yen per person departure tax the next day. 2,000 yen is about $20. So the Seoul connection can be better, but even that means a domestic departure tax of 3,000 won per person, about $5. There are currency exchanges right after you go through customs. At Seoul, U.S. flag carriers arrive at International Terminal 1. A free shuttle bus connects to the domestic terminal and flights to Busan. Make sure that your sponsor meets you at Busan, or else you will face a hefty taxi fare to Chinhae.
When I got here, I was amazed at the housing.
We got housing right away, which was really great.
We were extremely pleased with the size of the house, the quality of the furniture. The beds were absolutely brand new.
It's a lot larger. There's more space.
This is probably one of the nicer base housings that I've ever been in.
Chinhae is a very small base, little more than 200 residents, and so in many ways is like a small town. Housing is for married couples or single parents and their families in 2, 3, or 4-bedroom models. All are ranch style except this one fourplex. There's also bachelor officers and enlisted quarters. The BOQs are fully furnished 1-bedroom suites with private bath and kitchenette. Appliances include electric range, microwave oven, coffee maker, and refrigerator. Plus, a cable TV, clock radio, and phone hookup. In the BEQs, you'll find a private room with shared bath for E5 and above, 2 to a room for E4 and below. All also have a cable TV and microwave oven. All bachelors' quarters have lounges and laundry facilities. And for everyone, bachelor or married, there's this special after-hours lounge, the Cave. The base school takes children through the 6th grade. There's also a TOTS program and a summer camp for children aged 6 and above. Older children are bused to the U.S. Army base school in Busan. Another reason to go to the Army base is its exchange, much larger than the one at Chinhae. The commissary, on the other hand, is newly remodeled and expanded. Still, fresh produce is limited. Local markets carry delicious fruits and vegetables, although at a higher price. There's a ration limit for hard liquor of 8 bottles per month per family, or 4 bottles for unaccompanied personnel. And a generous food limit of $850 per month for a family of 4 and $350 for unaccompanied personnel. There's numerous recreational activities for such a small base, indoors and out, for all seasons, to get you in shape or keep you that way. The competition-sized swimming, diving pool and patio is popular for summertime parties. If the great outdoors is more your style, Korea has much to offer. Lush scenery, hiking trails, camping, fishing. So bring your outdoors gear. Or rent bicycles, fishing tackle, camping equipment, and more from MWR. Indoors, there are 3 clubs with interchangeable activities, including parties, bingo, bowling, movies, and traveling DoD shows. You'll find knowing Korean to be a big asset, an icebreaker, and Koreans anxious to practice their English with you. MWR has a wealth of activities to keep your free time occupied. There are trips to South Korean tourist sites. For your continuing education, there are PACE 2 program correspondence courses. MWR issues special calling cards for Korean payphones. As for calls back to the States, you will need a long-distance calling card from AT&T, MCI, or Sprint, because you cannot call the U.S. from your home without one.
Hi, Bobby.
Your day-long orientation tour to the Chinhae area will whet your appetite for more. Finally, even as Chinhae changes, so does the fleet activities Chinhae. It's being modernized and beautified under a comprehensive neighborhood plan. The fleet activities Chinhae, Republic of Korea, a beautiful corner of the Korean peninsula.
In Chinhae, it is like being in a very small town.
I've met some really great friends, especially Koreans. I will probably write them when I leave here.
I've become quite addicted to Korean food.
I think mostly the friends, probably, that you make, and they help make life in Korea very, very enjoyable.